Now, you and I, and you kind of touched on this a second ago. You and I have been very impressed with what Justin Ademilola brings to the table. And it's been in a rotational situation. I mean, he hasn't been a starter, obviously. He hasn't gotten starter minutes, but he has been, even from the second they started putting him on the field, he was making plays and he was taking advantage of those opportunities. Do you see him with the potential to be, a breakout player this year if he's getting more of an opportunity to play?
It depends on whether or not his pass rush improves, and that is going to be the big key for me. I mean, you go back to your point. You go back to the 2018 season when Justin was a redshirt player. I mean, they redshirted him that year. They took advantage of the 4-game rule. He played 4 games and redshirted, but one of those games he played in was the Cotton Bowl against Clemson.
Yeah,
I think
played
that
well,
and nobody was hurt. I mean, they had guys get hurt during the game, but he was kind of already working into that rotation for that game.
Right.
And then, like you said, he played well. He graded out very well as a run defender. Limited opportunities in 2019, he graded out really well as a run defender. And then, of course, this past season, he was a very good run defender. What Justin has to do to become more of a every down player is improve as a pass rusher. The interesting thing is that's what he was really good at in high school. So here's something that I think a lot of people have forgotten. So the Ademilola twins committed to Notre Dame. I believe they were still sophomores. They were kind of finished their sophomore years. They were going into their junior season.
Yeah.
At the time, Justin was considered the higher ranked prospect. He didn't really keep growing. Jason did. And then eventually Jason became the more highly ranked player. But Justin's production was every bit as good as his brother's. And so he was an outstanding high school football player really the reason some of the excitement about him has gone away is because he doesn't have the prototype size. He's 6'2", he's 245, 250. He doesn't have super, super long arms like some of the other guys. So you don't necessarily see those big time tools that you see from those other guys. But what has allowed him to be so good is that he is such a good football player. He plays beyond what you might expect from a tool standpoint because he's smart. He's got really powerful hands. He's got enough length to handle the position, and he just knows how to make plays. He just whenever he's in the game, he's just always around the ball. You just kind of see him either making a tackle or right there forcing a guy into a linebacker, doing something like that. He's just a really productive football player. The hope is that, number one, with more reps, because I do think he's going to get more reps, even if Myron Tungavaloa starts at strong side end, I don't see him dominating the reps in the same way that Nana Osafo-Mensah the way that Adi Takumba Ogundiji dominated those reps this past season, or the way that Khalid Kareem dominated those reps in 2018. So he's going to play. Justin's going to play. Whether or not he is in the game in crunch time when it matters most is going to be determined by whether or not he improves as a pass rusher. Because I could see a scenario in the fourth quarter when it's pass time where both of those guys are off the field and they've got more Vipers on the field and some interior guys that can rush the passer. So if they want to avoid that from happening, because I could see scenarios where if Notre Dame's in a pass rushing situation, they could put Foskey as sort of the strong side, the big end, and put maybe a Jordan Botelho or maybe a linebacker or something like that as sort of that fourth guy. Or they could just go to a 3-man front, have Foskey and Jason Ademilola, or Foskey and Riley Mills, or some combination of those two in the game with, maybe a Kurt Hinish, or maybe they put Riley at nose guard in those pass rushing situations and go with a 3-3-5. So if those guys want to, keep Notre Dame in more 4-down looks and be on the field on all downs, one or both of them are going to have to improve his pass rushers. And for Justin specifically, he's got to take the pass rush production he had in high school when he was a very good pass rusher and now start translating it into college. A case could be made, Vince, that he didn't really get the opportunity to rush the passer a whole lot because, on third down, he was never on the field on third down.
Right.
And a lot of times when he'd come in, they were running situations. So that case could be made, but this spring is going to be the opportunity for him to show that, okay, Adi's gone, Khalid's gone, I'm now the veteran, I'm now a senior. It's time for me to get that chance, and he's got to show that he can be that kind of pass rusher. That's going to be the key for him to, number one, sort of being, because like, look, it doesn't matter who starts the game; it matters who finishes the game,
You're right. You're right.
So if he wants to be that guy that's in there when the moments are biggest, he's going to have to improve as a pass rusher, and that's going to be the thing that I'm watching for him. If I get reports, Justin Ademilola is playing great against the run, I'm okay. He's been doing that since the day he stepped foot on campus. You know what I mean?
That's why he stood out.
Right. What I want to start hearing is, hey, you know what? Justin Ademilola has really upped his pass rush this spring. He's given those young tackles a hard time, and he's really getting after the quarterback. Those are the things that I'm going to want to hear from him this spring. And if we hear that, Vince, to your question, then maybe he could be a breakout player at that position.